I can't write. If you're not a very good writer, then you're at a serious disadvantage when it comes to starting your own blog. All hope is not lost, though. The vast majority of blogs out there are poorly written, and there are two reasons for this. Firstly, the majority of bloggers are not writers, and many of them are not native speakers of the language they choose to write in. Secondly, the bloggers choose to hire ghostwriters, but they pay them very little. They also tend to hire the first person they see, and as a result they get someone who writes just as poorly as they would have done. The vast majority of blogs out there are poorly written. You could do the same, but in doing so you would merely contribute to the expanse of poorly written blogs out there, and no one wants that. Instead, there are a few simple things you can do to improve the quality of your blog. Hire an editor. If you're not confident in your writing ability, then hire a professional editor to go over what you have written and to make changes where needed. If you shop around, you can find a capable editor that doesn't charge a lot. If you insist on hiring a cheap writer to create your articles, then you should hire an editor to check their work as well. Your articles don't need to be flawless. You're not publishing a book or a newspaper article. Mistakes are not only forgivable on blogs, but they are almost expected. There is a limit, of course, and it's not acceptable to publish work that is riddled with errors and bad grammar. But a few small typos won't hurt. As a result, you can hire an inexperienced editor or an English student to do the work, spending less and getting something that is perfectly acceptable. Check for originality. Unfortunately, a lot of the aforementioned cheap writers will simply copy articles from other websites. So, make sure you run everything they create through Copyscape, a cheap and easy-to-use plagiarism checker. If you discover that they have been blatantly plagiarizing the work, just get your money back and sever ties. We have worked with many such freelancers, and every single one of them denied it until they were blue in the face, even when shown proof. One writer wanted us to believe that he just happened to write an article that was an exact duplicate of one that had appeared in Forbes. Monkeys and typewriters come to mind. Ask a friend. Don't have the money to hire an editor? Ask a friend instead. Pick someone who has a greater understanding of the language than you do and offer them a share of the revenue if you need them to do a lot of work. Even if they don't write as well as you do, they might be able to help. It's difficult to see your own mistakes, but a competent friend shouldn't fail to spot them. Use writing software. Although you should never rely on it, you can use writing software to help you. Programs like Grammarly and the WordPress SEO plugin Yoast can help to pinpoint the faults in your writing. Don't rely on these to write the articles for you, and don't focus too much on getting a passing grade. Instead, analyze what you're being told, study the reasons your work is raising red flags, and look to improve your writing based on these notifications. This will help you to improve, which will save you a lot of time and money in the long run. Hire a professional. If you have the money, then hire a professional writer. Just make sure you check their credentials first, and expect to pay a lot of money for good quality. A writer charging a lot of money should have the credentials to back that fee up, as well as the skill. So, ask for references, ask for samples, and check them out thoroughly. You can use freelancing platforms like Upwork and Guru to find writers and editors, and you can also use these platforms to find designers and developers. Make sure you vet everyone before you hire them, and make sure you check the samples they post on their portfolio. You get what you pay for in this game, so don't expect to pay very little for a top-notch writer. However, even the best writers have to start somewhere. And to establish themselves, writers will often charge very little when they begin. Their work will not be as polished at this stage, but it will still be good enough for your blog. To find these writers, look for people that are new to the platform and are able to produce a clear, coherent cover letter. Go through their profile and look at the samples they have posted. If there are none, ask them to produce a sample for you. You will need to pay for this. These writers may abandon you when they establish themselves on the platform and begin to charge more money for their services. But when that happens, you may be making enough money to cover those extra costs. And if not, you can just find another new writer to fill their shoes.